So this morning we're talking about who we need. Luke 15 informs us in verse 1 to 3 that Jesus told not only but three parables to the Pharisees who were complaining about his patronization with sinners. The first parable is called the parable of the lost sheep. A man is tending a flock of 100 sheep, but one goes astray. Instead of accepting this loss, the shepherd goes out searching until he has found his lost sheep. Then he calls all around to rejoice with me, for I have found my lost sheep. The second parable is called the parable of the lost coin. In the story, a woman has 10 silver coins in the house, but loses one of her coins. She does not write it off as a loss, but instead she lights a lamp, sweeps the whole house, and searches diligently until she finds it. And when she does, she calls her friends and neighbors and says, "Rejoice with me, for I found my lost coin." The third parable is a story we have been studying, the parable of the two lost sons. Many of you might argue and trivialize, is this a coin? Is it a 1 cent coin? Or is it a valuable coin? You see, many wealthy people would never walk past a coin of any sort on the road. But those who have not will pass the small coins because they have very low values. Perspective. The similarities among the three stories are obvious. Each parable, something is lost. Someone is lost. Sheep, coin, and son. In each of the one who's lost something gets it back. And each of the narrative ends on a note of festive rejoicing and celebration when the lost one is returned. How many of us would trivialize it? How many of us would trivialize the situation? That's what I waste my time for. Perspective and value. There is, though, one striking difference between the third parable and the first two. In the first two, someone goes out and searches diligently for that which is lost. Because that which is lost couldn't find itself. The searchers let nothing distract them or stand in their way. By the time we get to the third story and we hear about the plight of the lost son, we are fully prepared to expect that someone will set out to search for him, because that has been the narrative so far. But no one does. The lost coin is an object. The lost sheep is an animal, but not just any animal, an animal without direction and doesn't know how to find its way home. It is startling, and Jesus meant it to be so. By placing the three parables so closely together, he's inviting thoughtful listeners to ask, well, who should have gone out in search for the lost son? Jesus knew the Bible thoroughly, and he knew that its very beginning, it tells another story of an elder and a younger brother, Cain and Abel. In that story, God tells the resentful and proud older brother, "You are your brother's keeper." Edmund Clowney recounts the true story of a young man who was a US soldier missing in action during the Vietnamese War. When the family could get no word of him through any official channel, the older son flew to Vietnam and risking his life searching the jungles and the battlefield for his lost brother. It's said that despite the danger, he was never hurt, because those on both sides had heard of his dedication and respected his quest. Some of them called him simply the brother. This is what the elder brother in the parable would have done, should have done. This is what a true elder brother would have done. He would have said, "Father, my younger brother has been a fool, and now his life is in ruins. But I will go look for him and bring him home. And if the inheritance is gone, as I expect, I'll bring him back into the family at my expense. Indeed, it is only at the eldest brother's expense that the younger brother can be brought back in. Are we getting it? It's only at Jesus' expense do you and I have the opportunity to be brought back into the fold of God. Because as Jesus said, the father had divided his property between them before the youngest son had left. Everything had been assigned. The younger brother had gotten his 1/3 portion, and it was completely gone. Now, when the father says to the